Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic, and this is another reaction to the Monogatari series. It is the first episode of Zoku Monogatari? Owari Monogatari, I'm very sorry. So, Zoku Owarimonogatari, episode 1. Well, you know what to do. As always, if you followed my reactions in the past, just go down into my descriptions, follow the links, replaces circumflex.parts with real dots, and enjoy. Once you've done, feel free to come back here and hear my thoughts about this episode. So see you soon. For those that came back, welcome back into the world of Monogatari, and it's confusing as always and interesting as always, and I'm pretty sure that, as always, I missed some stuff in this episode, but there was a lot in already. So, first things first, it feels to me a little bit like they are explaining more than they did in the past seasons. I may be wrong, but it felt to me like, okay, there was an easy one. Those clues were very visible, and they even in the same episode very clearly showed them out, put them in front. So maybe it's just me. You can tell me if you feel the same or if not. It might as well be that they put something out in the front and thus hiding stuff that is behind it, which I didn't realize then. So we will see. However, it is said to be the continuation of the end, which is nice. It's very nice. And it goes around the idea that as a human, we learn more from our mistakes, which, sad as it may be, is true. You know, we try to avoid those things that made us hurt, made us feel pain, or did go to our disadvantage. We learn from that because we try to avoid a situation like that. So yes, it's true, we learned from our mistakes a lot more than from what just went well, because what should you learn there? Yeah, just do it like that. Araki is high schooler now, so he gets no longer woken by his sisters, which, as it felt to me, he kind of regrets. He would like that to have that back in his life. This relationship with his sister is a unique thing. He likes it. I can understand that. And he reflects in the beginning of this episode about this very short-lived time of not really belonging anywhere. This idea of you are no longer in the school you were before. You're not yet accepted at your university either, so you're like of hanging in the air. And if someone would ask you, what do you do? Later on, some would ask, what is your job? But in this case here, what do you do? You're not in school. You are not in the next one either. So you're just there, but you're not unemployed either, because you're not available to the working market yet. So what is this? It's just free time, which, by the way, isn't paid, you know? So the idea of just enjoying this time is a good one. No question there. I would always say it's the best option to do, not to be negative about it, unless this time is too long. Those who, I don't know how you are living, those of you who were working in the past and, as example, changed to a new job, had a similar time frame possibly between two jobs. Yes, you can make your new contract go directly after the day you left your job. But I remember for me, when I changed jobs, I always thought about, what if I had just put like 2 weeks between where I'm just, unemployed for 2 weeks. I will not go to the state and say I'm unemployed. I want money for that time because I choose to do so, but it is like an additional holiday time, if you can afford it. That's always the question. So something like that is happening here for him. This was like the intro, and we saw some of the characters from the past in there, and that it is about them. And well, then he was drawn into a mirror. So surely when he stood in front of the mirror and you could see his mirror image did not move there. And I think I reflected that was saying. First thing comes to mind is, as always, okay, mirror image, vampire. Somehow related. But he gets sucked in, so why? For what reason? I mean, the old story we had, which ended last time, was about his time with Shinobu. The fact that he kind of did what he did there and thus gets sucked into this world of supernatural. But does this mirror story has to do with that as well? And if so, why and how? Additionally, Ononoki later on, when she appears, talks about the curse that was put on some people because they tried to meddle with what should be. Which, rings a little bell. What if this is some kind of a curse that now is put on him for what he did in the past? Just guessing. However, he was sucked in, cried for Shinobu, but I think she didn't hear him there at this time anymore because he was already partially through. And then he was on the other side without realizing. There was some minor clues and major clues, the whole room mirrored. And then Karen appeared and was shorter. That's something I was like, is she a younger version? No, she just was a shorter version. Her behavior, I'm not sure if that is a normal behavior for her, but she, while being undressed, was very comfortable with the situation. But once she was back in her underwear, she was like, you have to leave now. Normally you would say someone is fully dressed, comfortable, goes down to the underwear and then says, leave before I undress completely. So here it was the other way around. Undressed comfortable, in my underwear, and now I send you out before I get dressed more. So that did not make sense, but if you think about the mirror theme, it does. Tsukihi was more neither normal. And I asked myself why. Because she, from all those characters we've met, seemed to be the only more neither normal one. There was a moment when she, for me, looked a bit taller than she used to be, but that might have been a misconception. Why would she be normal? I mean, she's inherited by the Phoenix. We know that. So she is reborn and cannot die, something like that. I don't know. Is this Phoenix, does this cause some kind of that you cannot change? The other thing is Tsuki was always the one that was living in the moment due to her Phoenix, never thinking about the future, So she kind of is very, how to say it, very founded in the moment, very on the spot. Thus, possibly if you turn her and try to twist her, she would be the same. However you try to look at her, she always is in the moment. Maybe that's why. But that's a very philosophical attempt there for me. Sorry. So, not sure there. I guess it might be an interesting thing. Maybe it's something that is going on for the solution. I don't know. Ononoki was, yeah, okay. I mean, what the heck? That is an interesting version. She reminded me very much about on her master, so Kagenui, Yozuru, because the trousers, the way she looked there, reminded me a lot of Yozuru Kagenui. And she was, and that's true, very open and vocal about what she thinks. And that is clearly a difference. There was a moment when she was, I think, talking to us as the on-watchers about if that what she just thought is somehow connected to another storyline. I did not catch that completely. I'm very sorry, but I realized the fact that they tried to make a little joke there and maybe even put some spoilers out. So I didn't get that. Which brings me to Hachikuji. So, I mean, what to say? I chose this pick. You all, those who have seen my reactions in the past, and my comments in the last episode I reacted to, the after comments, where I answered the question, who, for me, is favorite in the show from the girls? Who's my favorite girl here? Yeah, as you know, Hachikuji is always on top for me. She's always one of those characters I love the most. So it's very interesting to me. Partially harming that she is shown as a grown-up because she's always a cute little girl for me. But I really like what they did here. You can see a lot of the character in the grown-up version. So that's very well done. I'm in for that. Very clever idea. She did not change much, while she did change partially in her behavior as well. But as I said, it's a good one. We got a little information that Kaiki was there before. Interesting. That might be interesting in the future. So it's a very small comment. And as we all know from the Monogatari series, those small little informations may later on be major important. So I try to keep it in mind. I like the turnaround on their play. So Hajiko is the one fondling him now, is the one jumping at him and kind of using him as in the past he did with her. And he cannot get out. And when it is too much, he is biting her. And in the past, it was the other way around. So, once again, mirrored. Nicely done. I like it. Yes, they mirrored the number of the chapters as well. So, the interesting question that was brought up then in the discussion is how to get back. Okay, you are aware now you are in a mirror world. They point out the interesting fact that Hachiguchi knows about Shinobu, although in this mirror world there are no vampires because they cannot exist there. There are no mirror images of vampires. So the mirror world you are jumping into is always the mirror world from this exact moment you jump in. And it's not about logic from the fact that their characters are behaving differently, thus the relationships should be different. If you think from like 10 years ago. What is interesting to me is what would happen if you would stay into this mirror world. Would the relationships between the characters change? And they would have to because they're behaving completely different now. Just saying Ononoki, who is so extremely offensive now, extremely open about her thoughts and everything, it might very well be that some characters don't like her anymore now because you don't want her to be like that. You like the silence and calm one who is there when you need her. But you don't want the brag mouse telling you in your face what she thinks version. So, it is just from this moment, but an ongoing story with completely changed characters might be interesting as well. Talking about alternate versions. But how to get out there? So, you got through this one mirror in your bathing room. So normally I would say check there first. You know, how you got in should be possibly at least how to get out. The idea of someone from the other side has to get you out. In this case, Shinobu, yes, why not? What if it is just one-sided? But there are many questions. How would she realize you were sucked into a mirror? How should she know? There was no one who saw it happening. He cried out in the moment it happened, so maybe, just maybe, that's an option that she realized it due to that in this moment. But if not, I don't see how she could just guess that. He himself then, in the end, as last point, thinks about Kambaru's house. So I remember the Kambaru story that her father saw her mother in the water of the well, the mirror image, possibly of himself, that he remembers like an impressive moment for him as a child. And when he later on saw the woman, that he realized, this is the woman I saw in the well, this is one destined for me. It was always about the discussion was about, did he really see her, or wasn't it more like that he saw her and he felt like this could be the woman I want, I need, I will have in my life, and then just added his past to it by saying, possibly that's the one I saw in the well, it's fitting, you know. So, but there was a story about mirrors, so why not? Try, and it is his initial idea, so go with it. There's an option. Seeing how much Araki is connected to Shinobu in the past, if he has this idea, there's a good chance she will whysoever have the same idea. So go with it. I would go with both options, the mirror in his bathroom room, checking for whatever, and Kambaru's house as well. Both options are valid. So we will see where this is going. For nice sentences. So I like the sentence in this episode about the continuation of the end. That was a good one. A really good one. You may learn from mistakes. And I will, from Hachikuji to Araki, I will solve this. Don't you worry. And I put it down here. I have nothing to base it on, but I'll promise as a god. It's like, don't worry. All will be fine. I have nothing to base it on. It's just, just empty words. Great. I like it. So, that's it from me this time. I hope you enjoyed. I did for sure. So, until the next time, my name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.